Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And today we're going to tell you how we felt about Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange?
Yeah. So how much have you been looking forward to this movie?
I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah. Me too. But less so than I feel like I ought to have been now that I've seen it. That's kind of where I'm at with it, because you know me, I'm not a fantasy guy. This is a character that has not really ever appealed to me that much. The reason I was excited about it was Cumberbatch doing an American accent. That's a big deal for me. Cumberbatch actually trying to disappear in a role and not just being Cumberbatch, because the man is a great actor, but he gets cast on his voice a lot. I think, and
there's another actor.
Once I found that out, I was really excited.
There's another actor that gets cast on his voice a lot that also played a mean doctor and did an American accent.
I don't know what you're talking about right away. Yes, yeah, that's true. I never watched House. I forgot he did an American accent in that.
Oh, okay.
Because I just didn't watch. I like Hugh Laurie, but I never watched that.
I knew him as House first. I was like, wait, he's British?
Oh yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna have that with Cumberbatch, I bet now.
Because I've seen some Fry and Laurie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
But anyway, so yeah, that'll definitely happen. But the other thing is, I wanted to see if Marvel could make me excited about this character.
And I mean, I guess brief history. I like this character. I've never read much of him because he's not well collected until recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when I was a teenager, I read the Lee and Ditko stuff. And I like that stuff quite a bit, but I haven't gone back to it since I was 15, 16, so.
Yeah. So, Eric, brief synopsis of Doctor Strange. Go.
Of the movie?
Yes.
There is a doctor who's kind of egotistical. He gets in a car accident, and he can no longer... he's a surgeon, and his hands are kind of doing this now. And
they can't fix him.
Yeah, they can't fix him, and he exhausts all his resources trying to fix it. He goes to... kind of an ancient mystic kind of a person to try and learn how to fix it, because he meets someone who was paralyzed and was able to walk again, and kind of goes on a spiritual journey, and things blow up.
Yes, and he learns how to wield magic.
Well, I mean, that's inherent, right?
Yeah, yes. Mm-hmm.
Anyone watching this video knows that bit.
But that's a lot of the movie, is his learning how to do that.
It's a mystic journey.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, Eric, how did you feel... Oh, and introducing magic to the Marvel Universe, that's pretty important.
Yep.
So how did you feel about Doctor Strange?
So... what I wrote on my board was, I felt like I was watching a live-action adaptation of a blacklight poster.
And there's a little neon in this movie, too.
Oh, there's definitely some neon in this film.
Yeah. But that doesn't immediately tell me if you enjoyed it or not.
Which is what I said when I was writing my board, was I was like, I don't have something that I know that sums up my feelings.
Yeah, I don't know the mine.
But I can sum up what I think the movie is, and that's that.
Well, that tells you what the experience was like. It doesn't tell us if you wanted to watch a couple hour-long blacklight poster.
I liked it.
Yeah?
I didn't love it.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's some character stuff and some plot stuff that I'm going to need a second viewing. Yeah. I'm not, saying, this movie's just not that good. I need to see it again. There's some stuff that I'm not sure if it works completely or if I'm completely going with it. My biggest thing with the trailers, the reason I was not super excited for this movie was because... all we saw mystical trippiness was the kaleidoscope effect.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really hope that the whole movie is not just the kaleidoscope effect. One of the things I love about the Doctor Strange comics is the really bizarre locations
and surreality
and designs.
The
dimensions. Lovecraft would refer to it as non-Euclidean geometry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I wanted going into this.
Did you not get that?
I don't get it as much as I would have liked it.
Okay, but we got it way more than I expected.
We definitely get it. We definitely get a bit of it, not as much as I would have liked.
Okay, but you gotta give it Doctor Strange's initial introduction to other realms.
Oh, absolutely.
that was just a wild trip. I didn't think it would go that far, and I think they did a great job of introducing you to the weirdness with that.
I agree, but then we kind of don't use that again for a good long while.
Well, that's true.
And I thought the mirror realm was kind of generic, and I wasn't.
But I think they had a really good reason for why you couldn't.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
you know, I think the movie has a pretty good. Again, just first time watching it, my mind could be changed, of course, as we look at it again this weekend before we do the spoiler cap. But it had I thought it had a pretty as rigid of a sense of rules as I could imagine for this.
Except for the mirror dimension, which is the thing that we mostly use. I most of the time I could not figure out why we were doing this and like changing space and like moving.
Except that it looks cool. No, I had that too.
Looks cool.
No, absolutely. But just as far as like the rules of somewhat of what you can and can't do. I mean, we don't know everything. It's mysterious.
Yeah.
You've got artifacts that allow you to do certain things. There are certain things you can do with yourself. But what I was going to say is, the rules of what you're supposed to be allowed to do and not, I think, are pretty clear.
Yeah.
So you don't have as much of the trippiness inside of the regular world we live in because you're not supposed to mess with the natural order.
Yeah. No,
and that's Mordo's big thing.
I understand. Like, I know it's an origin story, but, like, coming in, what I like about Doctor Strange, what I wanted for a Doctor Strange film, was weird out there dimensions, and I got some of that, and I was excited about that, because I honestly, based on the trailers, was not sure we'd go there at all, really.
Yeah, me too.
But,
that is definitely, you know, possibly the biggest criticism I can lob at it, just jumping right in.
My biggest criticism was I think we overused the mirror dimension and that effect.
Okay, that's fair. What I was gonna say is, yeah, but when we finally have a big giant fight there, it's spectacular. But
no, I agree.
But this. It didn't kill the movie for me, and what I'm about to say, and I'm surprised by that. It's just a setup movie. It's just an origin movie. I don't want to say just. It's not like there's not a decent character arc, but
I thought he could have been in a worse place in the beginning.
Did it not feel really short? I mean, it felt really short.
It felt kind of short. I felt like we could have had some more time before his accident.
Yeah.
Because we kept saying he was egotistical.
And we wasted no time. We jumped right into that.
We kept saying he was egotistical, and he certainly was, but less than Tony Stark in the first Iron Man.
That's the million-dollar question, because this is the big thing I wanted to ask you, is, because before we went into this, you were like, what are they going to do? They pretty much made Tony Stark comic book Doctor Strange. And now that I've looked into that a little bit, I don't actually completely agree with that.
Okay.
But I think that there are differences. They might be a little bit subtle. In the rewind I'm about to put up about the animated Doctor Strange movie, I actually break that down and talk about what I think the differences are. But my question to you is, do you think it's redundant? Do you think he is too much like Tony Stark?
No, but I almost feel like they were afraid of that, and so early on...
So they reeled it in or something?
Yeah, I think he's too likable from the get-go. I wish he was a little bit more standoffish and then just kind of eccentric and kind of egotistical. Because we keep getting told he's egotistical, and I don't ever see it as much as they say it.
There's a scene with his old flame that I think they think is enough.
And that seems great.
But
that should have been him the whole first act.
Yeah, and I hesitate to say that, but I think you might be right about it. Because this is after he gets his hands messed up. Anybody in that situation might break at that moment, and that doesn't really tell us how self-absorbed and not caring about anybody else he really is. There is some token stuff about how he wants to see particular patients that'll get him into the history book or make him more money and that kind of thing. But you're right; it might be spoken about more than it's.
So yeah, I have some reservations that might get better with a second viewing.
Yeah.
I flipped now, right?
Yeah, sure.
I'm feeling it. I think it's good. But I definitely have some reservations about some things, and I would like to see it a second time before I really have strong opinions.
Sure. Okay, so here's my board, and like yours, it's not a feeling so much as this is what the experience is like. Yeah, I was trying to think of a last word for this, and then he said a word, and I went, okay, fine, that works, so I put that word in there. So this is the first ever collaborative board on how we felt about this movie. Made me feel like I was inside an M.C. Escher painting filled with heart, imagination, and zen.
That works pretty well.
That works, yeah. So I went ahead and put that in there. No, that's true. I have some reservations. I felt like it was a little short. That is a credit to it, though, that I wanted more. When I got to the end. But I enjoyed the crap out of this movie. I was just having fun all the way through it. I think the way that we're introducing magic to the Marvel Universe with this is really good. I mean, I think it's pretty smart. I think it works.
Well, and they do something.
I'm buying that this was all in the background, and even the Asgardians didn't know about it.
Well, and they do something that to me puts everything in a certain perspective. At least as a comic book fan, there's an artifact that's named after a big cosmic character.
Yes.
There's an artifact named after a big cosmic character, and to me,
we've opened the door now.
Well, We've taken a character that I traditionally think of as a Galactus Celestials kind of character and put a magic artifact tied to that character. Mm-hmm. And that makes everything fit together for me in a certain way of, okay, so...
You weren't sure if those things even existed. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, but that we take the magical stuff and we're tying it to the big cosmic stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Just as much as we are... We're not just... I mean...
I just didn't know what you meant just specifically that, because there are a number of things that do that.
Yeah. I kind of see how it all fits in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Mm-hmm. Just with that one artifact and what it's named after. I'm like, okay, well, I know what that character is, mm-hmm. and that's not a mystical character, but I see the perspective that we're going from now, of just this kind of really, really bigness. And I really like that.
I love Cumberbatch.
He's great.
I think, once again, I think he disappears in this. There is, like with all of the Marvel films, there's certainly a lot of levity. I think some people might think it's a little too slapsticky.
There is something that I think is and did not need to be.
There is, yeah. I think I might be thinking the same thing you are. Does it have something to do with the coat?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I had that too, but it wasn't a big deal or anything.
No.
I thought the way the mysticism was handled was for the most part really imaginative. I thought the special effects with all of that were pretty seamless. I thought everything looked like it was really there and really going on.
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot of complexity to just like ripple effects and a bunch of. Not a bunch of, but 3 or 4 characters all doing really complex things all on screen at the same time.
We see people ripple and it looks good.
Yeah.
I was impressed by that. That's not the fact that I would necessarily think we can nail.
My favorite thing in the whole movie is a thing I can't talk about yet. I don't want to give it away.
Well, and I'll say, tied to what I know your favorite thing is.
Yeah.
Regardless of the rest of the film, the ending is maybe the most clever climax of all of the Marvel films. I think it's really smart.
I don't think it falls into the stereotypical like big giant battle ending
I agree.
Pit that people keep complaining about. Yep. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it is an epic climax, but I think it turns that on its head a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and he beats it with his mind as opposed to we don't just shoot lasers at it.
I like that the big thing that I love the most is at the end and is a big giant magical / cosmic thing. And I don't want to say anything else about it yet right now, but we'll talk about it on the spoiler cast on Monday. We usually do this Sundays. It'll be Monday. But anyway, I also really liked the villain. and I liked that it was your classic villain that thinks he's right, not mustache-twirly bad guy, but is also demented at the same time, and I totally bought that.
And that his entire motivation is tied in with the theme of the film.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I think the mortality theme is pretty solid, and is, I mean, kind of the obvious thing. It's what it ought to be, and it works.
I think the MVP of this film is Mordo. I thought he was great.
Yeah, but second to that is the Ancient One.
She's great too.
I was very impressed with her. I loved the moral ambiguity. She was everything I keep asking for from Professor X. She does some bad things for the right reasons, and she is, and her doing that is the reason that the villain thinks that he's doing the right thing, and so she's kind of responsible for it. I like all of that. Hopefully, that's not giving too much away, but I liked all of that a lot. My big takeaway was I'm excited to see Doctor Strange with other characters.
Yeah.
And I know some people complain about that, where they're like, I don't want to throw everybody in the same movie, and I'm not saying that Doctor Strange doesn't work on his own. He totally does, and I'm excited for a sequel to this.
I am too.
Because now that we're past the origin, we can really go just nuts. And that's what you really want to see, right?
That's what I
want to see. The crazy, mystical nutsomeness of this world. You're right, we got glimpses of that. But I immediately was more excited about Infinity War knowing he'll be there.
Oh, absolutely.
And I want to see him and Tony Stark interact. Because I think you could really draw out those differences between them. The big thing with Doctor Strange versus Tony Stark is that and you could say that he's actually less complex because of this, which could be a problem. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully he doesn't end up being one note. But the thing with Tony Stark is his character arc through all of these movies has been baby steps, and Doctor Strange is Tony Stark if he learned everything he's learned in the last 8 years worth of movies in that first one.
Yeah.
But so seeing them on screen together will be interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, what else do you want to talk about right now?
Well, I want to let everyone know, if you haven't seen the film yet, there are 2 post-credit scenes, one mid, one after, and the one after is kind of just a scene.
Yeah.
It's a full-blown scene with this movie.
It's like Winter Soldier. Where would you put it? So they put it at the end.
Well, Winter Soldiers, I think, belongs at the end of that movie.
No, I do too. But what I'm saying is, it's a scene that goes in the movie, and they decided it didn't go anywhere, regardless of what I think. But that's the logic.
Well, and unlike Winter Soldier, because I think Winter Soldier's after credit scene should be the final shot of the film.
I think so too.
I don't think that here. With how they end the film, I don't know where this would go.
Okay.
But is there anything else I really want to talk about?
Usually when Giacchino does a score, I bring it up because I'm back and forth on Giacchino. I liked his. I liked his title theme for this a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
It got in my head. It's memorable. It's great. It's there's a couple of versions of it. There's a standard orchestral version, and then there's one with a harpsichord that's just great. I wanted more harpsichord. But beyond that, throughout the movie, I thought the score was. I mean, it's good. It works, but I didn't notice it, which is which I guess is a good thing. But I'm usually picking up more on score, and I thought that it was the most unobtrusive score I've ever heard from Giacchino. 'Cause he can be really understated and sometimes to a fault, or he can just take over and the music becomes the only thing you're paying attention to. Lost has that in some places. So anyway, but I just wanted to bring that up real quick. Well, I guess that's going to be it for us. Thanks a lot for watching. Sure appreciate it. And we are going to do a spoiler cast on this with a big panel for you on Monday night.
You never flipped your sign. Nobody's going to know how you felt.
Oh my god, I'm feeling this movie. This was a feel-good movie to me. Weirdly.
Yeah.
And I could have seen it being a little darker and having a little bit more pathos, but
I kind of wanted that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I totally understand that. And
I don't know. I don't want this to be a dark movie.
If people end up not digging it because they go, oh, it's that Marvel thing where it's got to be a comedy. it's just a personal taste thing. Folks that feel that way, that is totally valid, I think. Well, I did not feel that way.
I don't need the movie as a whole to be darker.
Sure.
I really want him to be darker at the beginning. I want more of an arc and more of a... I think
that's totally fair, yeah.
But it's an enjoyable film. Absolutely, it's a good time.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. Like I said, Monday night, we're going to have the coverage of the mock presidential election at 7 p.m. That goes for an hour, and then we're going to do this right after that. So around 8:15 or so, again, my time, Central Time, we'll be doing the spoiler cast for Doctor Strange. So look forward to that. In the meantime, I'm Captain Logan.
I'm Eric.
Thanks again for watching. Do 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 do.